Yeah, I think something different is a good way of putting it. It's I think Xavier's been the most vocal of anybody. Cardi puts in the time. Mac, when there's days when he practices really hard and, does a good example of that. And Pearson, I think, is, quietly does a great job. He cares so much about the team and the program. And so, you hope, when they combine them all, you don't have that dominant guy like Barry, who was probably, when I mentioned what each guy does, Barry did them all. And, and I said it last year. I've done this, at that time 40 years, and I've only had a couple guys like Barry, two or three guys that compare to him. So, we were very fortunate, and that didn't come. When Barry was a freshman, he was trying to survive, but he had such a belief and confidence in himself and a will to work that even then he thought he was the leader, as a freshman. So at least he imagined he was in his own mind. So so you hope slowly but surely those guys will, I think they have to get comfortable in their roles, and that's been another process for our older guys. That it's totally different, and for all of them, and I was on one of the radio shows this morning. They asked about the end of the game. Well, they're all in different roles. They have to go through this. If you go back when Dean and those guys were freshmen, Dean made that shot against Georgia, but after that, I think we might have won one other close game, and we were, because I went through it. I got it. I can even look it up for you. It was like 2-8, and then it was, 6-8, and then it was 10-4, and then it was, whatever. So 12-1 or 2. So it's a process, and I think for the guys' sake, they prepare to win, they compete to win. We led for 33 minutes, and they led or 34 minutes, and they led for 3. We just got to find a way to improve so that we finish the games off, and some of that is even within the game. We had chances. Where we let momentum run, swings, stop. Whether it's a missed shot or a quick shot, bad decision. Antonio gets the rebound. It's 3-on-2 and goes all the way and falls down. You make the right play on that. Little plays like that can all add up to helping us, maybe get more momentum during the game than just so we don't have to focus totally at the last 3 minutes all the time.
How do you help your players balance the grind of having 17 conference games left against the urgency of the next one?
I mean, it's all you can, and I told him before the last game, just all you can focus on is one at a time, and that's all you can do. And that, I think and I've said it to you before, I just listened to Coach Snyder. It helped me learn about that. And, one of the things I've learned, I don't even look at the schedule. I just started looking at it last week more for recruiting, because we got to know which days we are having off and when you're going to have a chance to go out and see some of the kids. So I really try not to, because it's daunting, if you look at it, it can be overwhelming. And right now, just, who has that toughness to come back, they want a, thrilling game in overtime, and we lost a tough one on the road. Now, can you come back and prepare? And get yourself ready for Tuesday and at 8:00. Wednesday they're off. We got to be careful. This is a young, fragile group, physically and mentally. And the grind, it will take its toll if we are not careful.
Is TCU playing much differently than they did last year?
It's all obviously you don't have the magical passing of Robinson. He was really, when you went up against him, you were scared because he could just do so many things. And, our goal before was we try to wear him down, and I think we had some success with that. Obviously, you got Bain. They've given him a lot more freedom. Nemhard has, really gotten better, and he's gotten more freedom to do some stuff. And then the big fella's he's played well. He's made improvement. He's a big old body, and he gets that ball inside. He can score. He plays his butt off. And then they've just kind of mixed in some other guys, just kind of, that kind of a lot of new faces for them at those other positions.
David is only averaging more minutes than Pearson and James right now. Is it a big game thing or is it a practice thing with him?
I think both. He's got to practice better. I couldn't. From way back in October, I begged him from every day. I promise you, it's almost every day. I need you to play harder. I need you to practice harder. I need you to be more definite on everything. And I've told him even back then, you gotta. I want to play you because you can bring some things to the table, but you also have to try to defend. And it's just. And now he's probably, like a lot of guys, he's probably lost a little confidence. And, I thought after St. Louis maybe, he would take a step. And, he didn't. And, he gets in the games and he's got to take care of the basketball. It's got to be the number one thing. And, you hope he distributes and makes right decisions for us and at least be solid on defense. There's a lot of guys on a lot of teams around the country that, are great defensively, and you can make up for that. But he's got to do the other things. He's got to really take care of the ball, distribute, and make his open shots. So then that offsets maybe where he's not quite there yet defensively. But it would be nice. It would ease the pressure, I think, on Cartier and some of our other guys.
How much progress are you seeing right now from Dajuan?
I thought he's. I just last week I think I mentioned, maybe I didn't to you guys, but I just asked him because he's like a lot of the young guys. Oh, I got to do better, and he wants to do so well, and getting frustrated a little bit. And I just said to him, "How many minutes did you play yesterday?" And he said 27. I said, "Go look around and see how many freshmen in the country are playing 27 minutes. You're doing okay." And and I said, all I want you to do is play hard. And if you do that every day and focus on that, good things will happen. He got a little scoring done. He was shooting about 39 from three, and then, made that last one, but I think he had missed 6, 7 in a row, maybe a little, even more than that, from the St. Louis game on. And one of the things I asked him again, I said, one of the things, you've been in the gym. Have you been in the gym lately? He said, no. I'm tired, coach. And so, I said, well, I don't want you to be in there an hour, but it might be 15, 20 minutes early, 15, 20 minutes after practice, come back at night, just get spot shooting, and it helps you. And the other part is taking care of your body. Freedom is no school, it's great, but it's also freedom. And, are you getting sleep? Are you eating right? We try to give them a little bit of freedom to have couple meals and then a couple, little where they don't have to have. Cause you go out every meal, it gets old, and so we kind of mix it. But again, can they deal? Do they have the maturity to deal with that freedom? So, but he gives us a lot. There's no doubt. He always tries. I mean, he tries as hard as anyone. It might not always be perfect, but he tries.
Like to see Mike be more aggressive on
Well, I asked the guys yesterday in film, who's our best three-point shooter? Who's our best shooter, really, when it looks down? He's 46% from three. And I said, how many threes did he get off? He only got one. Now, part of it was his fault. He didn't jump to the ball. He reached in 3 times and got 3 fouls. And so now his minutes were really cut and never got in the rhythm of the game. Because he's not – it's got to be off of everybody else and to get shots for him. And I even said to coaches after, do we need to find some sets to get him some more shots? And because he is shooting the ball well, and so that we got to help him. If he's got to get 5, 7 shots at least. But again, some of it was foul trouble that he never got involved.
You've had a culture of winning at Kansas State. Montavious and Dijon both won a combined 71-5 their senior seasons in high school. Do you see hints that they could become leaders down the road?
Oh, yeah. I don't think any doubt Dajuan will become. He's even done it now. He speaks up. He speaks up quietly, but he speaks up sometimes. And I think I don't think there's any doubt he'll be a leader. So, Monte, I think he's just going to be example. He doesn't quite have that personality that, or that confidence. So, but him and Antonio are they complement each other. One's kind of very confident, and the other one's very just solid and does what he's supposed to every day.
That final 4 minutes there where you guys didn't get any points right there, is it shot selection? Is it just shots not falling? What's the cause
I
of
think
that?
there was combination. We turned it over a few times. We took some quick shots, some little tougher shots. I didn't think we went to the basket. They went and created, put the refs in a bind, and they call fouls, and we didn't do that. Now what were the baskets Cardi scored down the stretch? 2 times to the basket, and then we didn't do that again. We were very cautious against the zone, and the crazy thing is, and we didn't, they hadn't played zone one time, and we didn't put a lot of time into it. But the whole week before that against Tulsa, that's all we did, and we made them get out of their zone. So what happens? But it's being on the road game. The momentum changes. Now somebody get us into our stuff. Boom, boom, move it, and we just didn't attack inside enough. I didn't think so. And again, that's hindsight.
Barry was always kind of your closer late in games when you go to him at the point and everything. How long did it take him to cherish that, to embrace that role? And when do you think somebody on this team could?
Yeah, I hope, and we always bring back that when Cardi against Kansas, at Kansas' first game, he made some plays down the stretch, and but again, that it wasn't expected of him, and it's different when it's happening. You're the number one guy in the scouting report, and you know what's coming. Now can you still make that play? And Barry didn't do it as a freshman. I mean, he wanted to, he thought he could, and that's part of why he was successful. But I think it'll come. Cardi wants to. He's just got to realize sometimes it's going to be a pass, sometimes it's going to be a drive, sometimes it's going to be a shot. He can't predetermine that. Because every defense is different, every end of game situation is different.
With this kind of young team, with these freshmen, how patient do you have to be right now?
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, it eats at you, but as soon as the game was over, I tried to remind myself instead of going off. One of the coaches I said, hey, all I care about is Tuesday night, we're 1-1. 8 o'clock, we got to get ready. It's all we're done with. And I'm trying. So I may go home and hit the wall and, scream and stuff, but I'm in front of them. I got to help them and do my best of that. But they got to be demanding of themselves to improve too. That's one thing. Just improvement just does not happen. You have to, you got to demand yourself to get better. The little things that help you get better, and that we got to be demanding of them. But I think we have to be careful at bashing them. I told the coaches I went recruiting Saturday night, but I texted them. I said, it's a fine line. We cannot bash right now. We have to help, but that doesn't mean you can't be tough with them. But I think talk is probably more important. Make sure.
Talk meaning communication.
Communication. Yes.
You kind of alluded to this before the season about them being a young team and everything. Is it taking longer than you anticipated?
Yeah, I thought it would be a little easier. Yeah, I did. But again, you look at all our games. We're there. We're there. I mean, so you go look. Marquette just beat Villanova pretty easily. A week ago, Villanova beat Kansas, probably our best team and one of the best teams in the country. So, it's not like we're not that far off, but we are far off because what do we have, 6 losses or whatever. So can we change it here?
When you talk about those late game situations, do you get tempted to go more micromanaging in those, or the other way and make them feel more like it's not this high pressure situation?
I think the one nice thing, we made improvement in the Oklahoma game. They actually scored out of basketball, playing basketball. And because it's really hard as a coaching staff to have to script every basket. Now, if we script the couple, start at half, we script basket, Matt gets a layup. Those make. But now, if they can just play basketball, I thought that was for me one really positive thing. And some of that at the end of the game, you might have to go make a play. But right now, after Pittsburgh, I said we're going to make sure we, especially the last play, we got to make sure we know what we're doing. Otherwise, I go home miserable because I gave them that freedom. So if I make the mistake, that's my fault.
What's it like seeing West Oaks and Selton Miguel beat one of the best teams in the country?
Yeah, I was supposed to be there. I went to one game and I was supposed to get there, and then there was some little weather issues, and I couldn't get there. I really felt awful because that Prolific's one of the best teams. They got some of the best players in the country. I coached Jalen Green this summer, and it's pretty cool. And he's player of the game. Then they came back and beat another good team on Saturday, so it was a really good weekend for him and their team, and hopefully they got some nice publicity from it. He's a tough, hard-nosed kid. He's got a little bit of Dejuan in him. Loves to play. Not very, very humble. Came over, as a freshman with nothing, and he's survived and made himself into a pretty good player. So that was good for him, and hopefully good for us in the future.